All right, here we are, SUB-CLE, another episode here. I'm kind of excited about this one. I know I say that quite a bit. I'm excited about a lot of these because actually these are all interesting people that I've met in Cleveland, you know. Not all of them. Actually, some of them I met, you know, for the first time, and I'm going to really get into a lot of the dealings of my first, I think, with this episode because we have the Cleveland. Cleveland has a rap community, apparently.
Yeah, I would say artistic.
Yeah, and we have Rage the Poetic joining today.
How you doing, everybody?
Dude, this is really cool because I've never had any rap. You know, usually it like falls into like rock and like metal and stuff like that. And it made me think that I don't really know too much outside of the rap community in Cleveland, besides, you know, obviously Bone and MGK and stuff like that. Right. Kid Cudi, know, things like that.
He was also a big hero to me, Cudi.
Yeah, so, like, can you tell me a little bit about how you got into the scene, what's going on?
Yeah, you know? So, you know, I got into music, and it's not really something that I was aspiring for as a child. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to just be like a firefighter.
Right.
It looked cool.
Right. I wanted to be a turtle for some reason.
A Ninja Turtle?
No.
Just a turtle.
Just a turtle.
Okay.
They weren't even out yet. I'm showing my age there.
It's all right. It's all right.
Firefighter's way cooler than a turtle, man.
Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to be a firefighter. And then, you know, my cousin who I looked up to, his name was Elijah. His name is Elijah. And I saw him starting to do rap, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And I really looked up to him. Like, he was like the person I used to live vicariously through him.
Yeah.
So I started rapping a little bit, and I went by the name Big J.
Big J.
Because that's my name. You know,
right.
Jordan. So
yeah.
And I was fat. I used to be fat. So I used to went by the name
Really?
Big. Yeah, I used to be really fat.
Shit.
So,
you're like a good-looking guy. He's like a Lenny Kravitz kind of good-looking dude over here.
Thank you, man. Yeah, American woman. No, but then I started to get into music really hard, and after my cousin who inspired me, I started to get into Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne, around the time 2009 is when I started like really like saying, all right, I'm rapping.
Right.
And Lil Wayne was really big at that time. He was like, he just won a Grammy, and and I would say from like in 2013, that's when I got serious. Like I started putting my music on SoundCloud.
Okay.
And you know, the first song I released was called "Dance in the Moonlight," and it's a good song and about like a lover who finds this girl. She's not really into him, but he still loves her. And he's just talking about dancing in the moonlight. It got like 100, and what made me realize I can do this shit on the internet is it got 100 views in less than 24 hours.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
And that really boosted my confidence as a young teenager. I'm like, wow, 100 people listened to this shit before the next day. I'm like, maybe I should do this. So, you know, so since 2013, I've been releasing music publicly, and it's been a journey, man. You know, it's just been a journey. It can be discouraging sometimes, you know. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it's discouraging. You know, I mean, you know, by the standards of, you know, when you said you had 100 views, you know, it's like today's standards. If you don't have 2 million views, you know what I mean?
If you don't have 2 million,
I guess that could be discouraging. But you know, for somebody that really enjoys what they do, I don't think the amount of views really matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I think
it's not about the views, because if you focus on the views, you will seriously discourage yourself.
Right.
You
as an artist,
you would depress yourself if you start focusing on how many people viewed the video, how many people listened to the song.
Right.
Don't do that.
But it is great feedback if you do get the views. It's a great encouragement.
It's definitely the cherry on top.
Yeah.
But when I release a song now, I just look for one person to say that they liked it. Yeah. Or disliked it, because because you know, I got somebody's time, and time is the real currency.
Well, and a single soul is very important. You know what I mean? And I it's just weird that you say that, because I'm trying not to have, I try not to have too much of an opinion, when I'm talking with somebody. But man, you really stirred that up though, because I've always said that. I've always said, people are, I'm making music. My dad, he was always against it, and and he's like, what kind of money are you making? What are you doing?
Parents just don't
and I'm
understand.
like, no, I just really enjoy expressing myself, and if it touches one person, it has worked.
Yeah,
I am successful.
That's what it is for me.
Right.
That's what it is for me. Like, if one person I send the song to and they say, dude, this is really awesome, like, wow, you're talented, I'm like, all right, I won. That's my Grammy. That's my award.
Yeah,
right there.
I agree completely.
And all the other stuff that comes along after that is just a cherry on top.
So going back, when you first got into rap and everything, what were your influences?
When I first got into it, it was, like I said, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
Then it became Kid Cudi.
Okay.
From Shaker. He's from Shaker Heights.
I just saw the new Bill and Ted movie, and he's in it.
Yeah, he's in Bill and Ted. Face the Music, right?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch that because I love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
And man, I feel like I'm missing out because I never saw any of the Bill and Ted's movies.
Oh, okay.
And that's probably giving away my age.
Right. But I know you're doing better than me, though.
Yeah. I never saw any of the Bill and Ted's, but I'm going to definitely watch that movie. Not because Cudi is in it, because I'm genuinely interested in seeing what that's about. So is Bill and Ted, are they like these rockers that are like, tell me about Bill and Ted.
Right, yeah.
So I'm interested in it.
Well, I'm kind of connected with that because, I was coming of age when the Bill and Ted movies came out. And, I could be categorized in that kind of thing because I was in the heavy metal music and stuff at the time. So the Bill and Ted movies were just like a satire of that lifestyle, kind of, and we always thought it was fun.
So
everybody thought
like
it was
Wayne's,
fun.
how Wayne's World was?
Very much so. It was like, it's almost synonymous, right? Wayne's World was like right in the same time. That was like a popular thing going on. And so, yeah, Bill and Ted were that, they had these delusions of grandeur of being a rock star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it turns out that, not only are they going to be rock stars, but they're going to be the people that unite the world.
Wow.
With a song.
Okay. Yeah. That's really satire.
So and then they're just some kind of jackasses, that are just into heavy metal music kind of thing. Whatever.
It reminds me of this Adam Sandler movie. Yeah. Adam Sandler did a movie kind of like that.
So the Earheads, I think, is what you're talking about. Yeah. So that was the same time period too, I think.
Everybody was just doing like satire rock band movies.
Guns N' Roses was popular at the time and stuff like that. Yeah.
But so Cudi was an influence, and then and Cudi was influenced for a very long time. Then I got into I just stopped listening to Cudi heavily. Now I'm like getting into like Prince.
Oh, nice.
I'm digging so hard into Prince. Like earlier this year, February is when I started listening to everything.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like the album Purple Rain, but I find 1999 to be better than Purple Rain. It's just like, Little Red Corvette, that song is awesome. In 1999, of course, is an awesome song. And there's a song called International Lover on there I love. It's just the ideal song. When I was a kid, I heard about Prince, of course, but I was a big Michael Jackson fan, like any kid was. And Michael Jackson just appeals to the heart more, you know. His music is, as a kid. I didn't understand Prince. He was like weird to me. But as you get older, like, in your 20s, like I am, you start to understand what the fuck Prince is talking about. He's talking about some deep erotic sexual things.
Sure. Well, that you think about in your 20s,
Yeah, I'm talking about 80s Prince, because of course when he turned his name into a symbol, he became more like a religious, and
I have a poster outside here of Prince in a shower, and he's in a thong.
Wait, did he have like blue on?
I think it's a black thong.
Okay.
And he's in a shower, and there's a crucifix hanging right next to him for some reason. I think
that was his
in the
symbol.
shower.
I think that was his symbol. It did have like a P on it.
No, it was it was a cross. It was like a Catholic kind of crucifix cross just hanging right next to him.
Well,
I don't know why that's hanging in the shower with him as he's wearing a black thong. I don't know.
Maybe it was like a juxtaposition type of thing, like,
Oh, dude, he was great. That's what he did. He I mean, he named himself some unnameable symbol. You know what I mean? That
still hasn't been done today.
Right.
But
Prince is amazing, dude. I can't say enough good things about Prince. But you were talking about the 1999, whereas Purple Rain was, the popular album. And then Michael Jackson, you're going to say, we were talking about this before, and you said Off the Wall.
That's it. I said Off the Wall.
Yeah.
To me, is better than Thriller.
Yeah.
Because you can really, it's just Michael, before he met, not before he met, what's the guy who produced Thriller?
Was it Quincy Jones?
Yeah. I think Quincy was working with him Off the Wall, but Michael was so young, and he was just he didn't come into his own yet with Off the Wall, so he was just like still new.
Yeah,
he was coming off from being with the Jackson 5,
right?
And it was just awesome, Rock With You, of course, that's an awesome.
Well, he
song.
had the fire,
like these are some great disco songs,
Yeah.
And you can still play them even if disco's dead. You can still play them.
But the songs are amazing. I listen. You're gonna have me talking about. It's funny because nobody's got me talking about Michael Jackson because he's probably one of my favorite artists.
I mean, he's amazing. That nobody has you have you talk about Michael Jackson.
Right. Well, we usually talk about different things, metal, food, stuff like that, whatever. But it's nice that dude because I think it's amazing and like you said, like Off the Wall, I think it's gritty, it's raw, whereas Thriller's a little bit more produced and it's the popular thing, And we were talking about like how bands it's always the album right before they made it.
It's always
that album has the biggest, Thriller.
I mean, he made a fucking short film, Thriller, so he definitely wanted that to do numbers.
Right.
I was listening to the anniversary Thriller album, and I was listening to like the pre-recordings for Thriller, and him like just listening to the beat and singing the melody. Yeah, it was really inspiring to hear. Michael Jackson has inspired me deeply, man. I mean, deeper than I ever thought he did. He's just really an awesome entertainer. I wouldn't say here's the thing I learned. He's not an authentic musician. I'm not downplaying him, but Prince was more of a authentic musician because Prince damn near did everything.
Absolutely.
Michael didn't write a lot of his songs. Prince wrote every last single song.
No, I mean, I think Michael Jackson did have a lot to do with writing the songs. It's just that, I mean, Prince actually,
he wrote every single thing.
He played the music. He played the instruments, in the song. Whereas I don't know.
Michael didn't play instruments, so yeah.
And that's one thing I've always kind of thought because Michael Jackson always had the greatest songs, and you listen to the music and it's so well put together. I would love to see like a documentary of the process of how they made like Thriller and Off the Wall.
You would think they have that already, but they only have a documentary on This Is It, his last production. Speaking of the Jacksons, I just recently, like last week, got into Janet Jackson.
Yeah. Oh, really? Just now?
Yeah. I'm very late, but I'm like, Janet.
Oh, she was killing it, man.
I said to my wife, I said, Janet is better than Michael.
Yeah.
Her songs, like she has an album called Janet.
Yeah,
that's right. And that album is filled with so many so many jams. Like it's
Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Oh yeah. There's a song called Throb on there, man. It's just like the beat keeps changing up, and it's just like it makes you want to break dance. My wife literally stopped the car just to dance. I'm like, damn, this shit is powerful. Janet is talented.
No. Janet beautiful. Jackson. There's something to be said for her for sure.
And she's a great actress.
Absolutely. I remember her, I'm showing my age again, but I remember her on Good Times, man.
Yeah, I remember her in Good Times too.
Yeah, well, the reruns.
I didn't know she was Janet Jackson. Jackson. I just thought that she was the little girl. You know.
I always thought she was the cutest thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was younger than her.
Of
you know
course,
what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, it wasn't weird back then. You know, now it'd be weird.
It's kind of how I feel about Hermione from Harry Potter. You know. Looking, I think she's cute as fuck now.
Right.
But it's not weird for me to think she's cute because when I was watching as a kid, she was older than me.
That's right.
So,
but to say it now as an adult, you're like, oh wait,
she's a kid in there, but I'm older, but she's older than me. So yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, man. Janet is awesome, and
so these are your influences. These are
Prince, Kid Cudi, and Kanye and Kanye. I forgot about Kanye West.
You like the Kanye?
Yeah, I know. Today he's not that.
Well, but no, I know what you're gonna say. Yeah. I can go there too. Yeah. I can say the same thing just because I thought dude, Kanye's beats are the best, man.
He was a producer at heart from the beginning.
For sure, dude. Yeah.
He took the most soulful songs that you heard and chopped them up and sampled them, and
it was great.
And he just gave us hits.
I agree, dude. But I thought he was a genius at doing that, dude.
He was. He kind of still is, but he's a little bit. I would say he's a little distracted with a lot of things right now. He just goes off in these rants.
But he knows how to get attention, and his brand makes money off of attention.
He's an attention whore.
So, yeah, and he knows how to do it. He's like a Trump. You know, I don't want to get too political here, but you know, he is like a Trump. He knows how to get the attention. He
learned from him well. It's like Palpatine and Anakin with him. So he's like, yes, Kanye West, do my bidding, young apprentice. He said, yes, master. I'm a big Star Wars fan too.
No, yeah. So does that come out in your music though?
Yeah, especially last year. If you look up a video I did called Abyss. In the video, I have like a Jedi robe on.
Okay.
And and I basically look like a modern Jedi.
Okay.
And I have the hood on and everything. And I found this abandoned Walmart over there on Transportation Boulevard.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and
that's like 500 feet from here.
Yeah. We found it, and we filmed a video in there, and the concept of the video was like in the year 2085, machines have taken over, and I'm like a rebel, some Terminator type shit, you know?
Right.
And I just the song is about me just wanting to escape this reality.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really get too deep into Star Wars in my music, just subtle things, you know, because that could be a little bit too lame to some people, you know. Well,
I've always thought it was easier to lyrically. I always thought
lyrically you can mention the Force and and
or you can make me make like an like a something that is the Force, but you kind of like a metaphor or some sort.
It's easy to do that with lyrics.
But and that's what I was saying. When I was younger, I always wanted to express myself, and I always wanted to, but I was afraid to. So I would always write words in ways that were incredibly like almost encrypted.
Yeah.
And the use of metaphor is no stranger to an encrypted expression. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, so a lot of the words I would write, it's like I found that I could express these feelings and not feel uncomfortable with them, and because I'm expressing them in a way that I'm saying something, it's painting the feeling, but it's not the complete descript thing. I don't know if you're
I'm a writer. So I went to Cleveland School of the Arts for creative writing, so I know exactly what you mean when you're talking about that type of thing. Writing can bring things out of you that you didn't. You can bring emotions out of you. You can learn. There's so many tricks and things to creative writing, my mentor, Daniel Kochar. he was the creative writing teacher at Cleveland School of the Arts.
Yeah.
And he's a big name here in the city. If you look his name up, he's worked with a lot of people like Bone Thugs and Harmony and whatever.
Right.
He taught me so much about creative writing. You know, like he helped me get my flow together as a rapper. You know.
Yeah.
He showed me how to get my cadence together. You know.
Sure.
You know, he had me study people like Tribe Called Quest.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, Q-Tip. You know.
Sure. Yeah.
Andre 3000.
Sure, of course.
You know. And that's another influence. Andre 3000.
Oh, he's amazing.
Outkast is
Outkast is.
They broke boundaries for because around the East Coast West Coast beef, you know, in the '90s, with you either sounded like Biggie or Tupac, or you know, one of them.
Right. No. Outkast had that other southern kind of beat going on. You know, it was a little off. You know.
Yeah, the South was very slept on, and Outkast put the South on the map.
Sure.
And Andre 3000. Wow, man, his verses, I don't know if you ever listened to him, but his verses are like poetry, man. Oh,
he's amazing. He's one of my favorites, honestly, yeah.
Not taking anything away from Big Boy, because he's a poet, too.
Big Boy's great, but Andre, that's a science.
And people have been waiting for him to drop a solo album.
Well, he's gotten more into acting now lately.
He played Jimi Hendrix in a movie.
Yeah.
And I love that movie. And he doesn't want to do music anymore, Andre. He wants to play the flute and just be alone now, because you know, being a celebrity takes a toll on you.
I think that's, you know, the artist, you know, it became something that it wasn't anymore, and he thrives off of that thing that, you know, it's kind of like. We can go back to the Michael Jackson putting out Off the Wall. Well, he was thirsty. He was on his own, trying to do his thing, and then then everyone's like, "Wow, this is amazing!
You're really fucking amazing."
Yeah, this is amazing. So hey, now we're gonna take this. Now he's got other people. Hey, we're gonna take this worldwide now.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now it's like a little bit of a dumbed down version, just so everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's what happens to a lot of bands. You know, I when you said this earlier, we were talking about this earlier upstairs, and I made the connection with Metallica, where it's like Master of Puppets really was the album. They really kind of solidified what they were, but they never became worldwide known until like the Black Album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So. And it's like, yeah, sure, it is a well-produced album. Obviously, it's one of the largest selling albums of all time. So obviously, it's doing its job. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's where the artist has the most fire, right? Where is that?
Yeah, you know, speaking of bands, here's a band I just got into last week. I got into a lot of shit last week. Rolling Stones. I just got into Rolling Stones. You know, I was talking to one of my older friends, and I was telling him I'm not a Stones fan. And then he said, "Okay, why aren't you a Stones fan?" I'm like, "Oh, their shit sounds too commercial and too corny." He said, "Well, listen to their blues shit." Oh yeah. And I listened to their blues shit, and I'm like, "Okay, Rolling Stones make some really awesome blues music."
No, they're they just put out a new album. I don't know. They did.
They're still dropping albums?
They just put out an album, and it's like real bluesy.
Okay.
Like it's going way back to their roots, you know.
Okay.
But yeah, but back then though, like that when they were growing, you know, that's a British, you know, band.
They were part of British Invasion.
Yeah, and it, you know, they almost just they were like, whoa, what's this music coming from, you know?
Yeah.
Over the seas, you know, and just like, yeah, that's great. Let's try working on something like that, and they made it their own kind of thing, you know. And the Stones did that. We were talking about the Beatles, I think.
Yeah, the Beatles.
You know, they've played around with so many different sounds. I've always said that they've created every genre of rock and roll.
The Beatles?
During their career, yeah.
Yeah, I can say that.
Like every song, they've created every genre of rock and roll.
To be honest, Vince,
I
forgot a large influence that and this large influence was a band, and that large influence is the Doors. The Doors played a big influence. They're the reason. Jim Morrison is the reason why I changed my name to Rage the Poetic, because first my name was Kid Rage.
K Rage?
No, Kid Rage.
Kid Rage. Okay.
Yeah. So then, but then I remember Jim Morrison saying something like, "When I die, I want to be remembered as a poet, not a rock star."
Right.
And so I was like, I want to be remembered. I want my words to be remembered as like poetry. And then I say, all right, my name is Rage the Poetic. And Jim Morrison and his words, they're very deep. If you listen to his poetry album, he's touching on some really, but all people wanted to hear was "Light My Fire" by the Doors. Sure. But he really wanted to do more things, with his poetry and film and and the Doors they're just a one of a kind band. They were better than the Beatles to me, because they fused they had they
were influenced by the Beatles too. I mean, you would
really?
I would think so. I mean, yeah. I think it would be hard to be a band at that time and not be influenced by the Beatles. Yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, they had a drummer.
Well, because the Beatles were around way before
the Doors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Doors came around around 1963.
Yeah.
When did the Beatles come around?
Oh gosh, I mean, I could look at I don't want to sound like an idiot and say the wrong thing, but I mean, definitely before that. Weren't the Beatles in the 50s somewhere? You know what?
Go ahead,
talk about how you're.
Yeah, well, the Doors. Yeah, Jim Morrison when he got on stage, he really demanded the audience attention. He would do things he would go out on these poetic rants, and he would get up there and he would just captivate the audience, not even with music, with just the things that he do. He was a real entertainer.
Well, I agree. Yeah, totally.
And he got what happened in New Hampshire, whatever, one of them shows in the 70s, he got in trouble. They said he put his dick out, but he didn't really pull his dick out. He said it was his thumb.
Right.
And he got in trouble legally, right. And that's kind of where he stopped making music. He ran away to Paris, and that's when he died. Right. His death is still a mystery too, because nobody knows how he died. They say it was heart failure, but he just kind of died out the blue. And most of the 27 Club I'm inspired by.
What do you mean?
I'm inspired by the most of the 27 Club, Hendrix. Hendrix and fucking Morrison and Joplin and Kurt Cobain. These are my fucking heroes, man.
Yeah, it is kind of weird that they've all died at 27. I'm sorry I didn't pick up that. I was moving stuff around and looking up stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, the 27 Club. That is fucking weird, isn't it, man? The most. So I don't know if you know what the word meme is.
Meme?
Yeah.
I'm from that generation. I know what a meme is.
No. But you know where that was coined from.
Mm-mm.
So there's Christopher what's his name? Charles Dawkins? Fuck, I forgot. Whatever. He's a scientist. He's
Don't be afraid to look something up.
I know. I'm gonna have to look this up.
This is your show, man.
Richard Dawkins. Sorry.
Okay.
So Richard Dawkins wrote a book called The Selfish Gene.
Okay.
In the 70s, and he was talking about how a meme is basically the social equivalent of a gene.
A gene?
Yes. So it's a social, think about that. So a gene is the building block of who we are, right?
Yeah.
So, but the meme is a social equivalent of that.
But on the internet.
So it's like a social thing. So say, back when he was talking about it, I don't know, beehive hairdo. He could say it could be a hairstyle, and it just spreads, and it just becomes this social thing that everybody starts to do, and it's kind of funny how it translated to the internet, where it is exactly what he said it is.
Yeah.
it's like a meme is just it's a bit of social structure of what we are socially. You know what I mean? It's that little bit.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, because like a meme, in my opinion, from what I see in a meme, is like a picture of somebody. Look up a meme. Just look up a meme on there. Because a meme is like a joke type of thing, you know. And
No. I know what you're saying. I definitely know what you're saying.
You get a
and I just want to go back and just for clarifications, the Beatles came out in 1960.
Okay, they came out in 19.
Yeah,
okay.
So
yeah, I wasn't far off because I said 1961.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. How far away was 2001?
Woo!
Right?
Yeah.
That's that amount of time.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
I miss those times.
Yeah. But, no, but maybe I'm not like, okay. So as a gene builds up, you know, our physical structure, you know what I mean? It says how big our nose is going to be, you know, or, you know, whatever, what our melatonin in our skin is going to be, or whatever it is, you know?
Our molecular structure.
Yeah. Whereas a meme is the social equivalent of that.
Wow.
So who we are socially are built on these little teeny memes. You know, it's like, hey, you know, it's like, you know, in the early 80s when everyone had mullets.
I was going to get a mullet.
I guess they're coming back.
I was going to get it like a shag. I was going to get a shag. I was really about to do a shag like 2 months ago, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
You know, it's like these little things, but then it got translated into the digital environment, and it really is just like a little snapshot of society.
Yeah. Like
when you look at a meme, it's just like a little snapshot of our social structure, just a tiny bit, like a little teeny bit. You know what
crazy.
I mean?
Well, I want to talk about after, you know, I became influenced by Jim.
There you go.
I was so inspired to be like Jim that Jim Morrison grew up on Venice Beach. Well, he didn't grow up on Venice Beach, but he ran away to Venice Beach.
As all the rock stars did at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
That's right. You said you went out to California.
I lived in L.A.
Yeah.
I went in 2015.
Nice.
You know, I graduated in 2014, and then they wanted me to go to college, my parents, and I was like, I don't want to go back to school. I was just in school for 12 years. I don't want to go to school again. So I just fucking went to LA. I told my mom that I knew somebody out there.
Really?
But I didn't.
You lied.
I went out there just to go out there. I said, I just fuck it. I have to get out of the city of Cleveland. Right. I was so over to Cleveland.
That's awesome that you had that drive to do that. What gave you the balls, man, to do that?
I was only 20 years old.
That's crazy. And you were just like, fuck it. How'd you get the plane fare to go out there?
My mom believed in me.
Yeah?
Because I told her I'm going to go out there and just pursue my dreams of being an actor.
Dude, good for your mom, man.
Yeah, my mom, she still believes in me hard. She's my number one fan.
Sure, dude. That is awesome.
She said, all right, I'm going to let go of my baby. I'm going to let him go out there, you know. And I went out there, and from the airport.
But, to her, I mean, you did go to the School of the Arts.
Yeah, I went to Cleveland School of the Arts. So
right,
she knew she knew that I knew what I was doing, and she knew. Because one thing about me, I always know how to talk to people. You know, I'm a really good social person.
Right.
You know, that's when I was working at the restaurant. You know, that's what I was good at. That's probably why some of the times I was slacking my work because I was talking to the customers a little bit too much, getting a little bit too personal.
Yeah.
You know, but she knew I was a social person, and she knew I would do well out there. But you know, from the airport, I was homeless. Straight from LAX, I was homeless. And, you know, life was hard at that point, you know. I was like, okay, I'm a man now. Like,
but, I mean, is it that? Well, because it does get chilly at night there in L.A.
Oh,
you know,
bro.
People think it's warm all the time. It's not.
No, it gets like 60s at night.
Yeah, it's cold.
And I used to have to drink a Steel Reserve to go to sleep.
Yeah.
In the park, you know, or sleep behind a building and get woken up by the security guard like at 4 a.m.
Really? So you just went there and nothing. What'd you think was...
I don't know, man. I was just, bro. It was just my heart. I was just following my heart. I said, I got to go out.
So what happened? Did you end up getting?
Well, okay, so I was homeless for about a month.
Yeah.
And then somebody that knew.
A month.
Yeah, because also my friend came with me. So somebody that knew my friend's father lived out there.
Okay.
And he bought property for a living. And, you know, and my friend's father and that guy were so close.
Yeah.
That he said he'd be damned if his friend's son is going to be sleeping out on the street. Nice. So he gave us a house to live in Silver Lake for free.
No.
6 months rent.
You just do it. It'll happen, right?
Yeah.
Just
like,
go for it.
The universe is on our side.
That's right.
And we lived, and that's when things started really taking off. Like I got to do some acting on the set of Teen Nick on this show called 100 Things to Do Before High School.
Nice.
I got to be on the set of fucking Teen Nickelodeon. Like
that's cool.
And I was a background actor, of course, but a lot of people were just, when I was there, they were just like salty because they're like, oh, I wish I had talking roles. I'm like, I don't care about having talk. I'm on a set of Teen Nickelodeon right now. This is where I watch Drake and Josh and the Van Vine show and all that. You know, like I'm happy to just be here, and that money was awesome. It didn't last long because the money, you know, $1,000 ain't shit out there. $1,000, it's not shit out there.
No,
you'll lose that like by the weekend.
Sure,
but you know, my time out there being homeless, it made me how to help me learn how to survive in the jungle. You know,
the concrete jungle, right?
It was literally a jungle. I had to survive out there. It taught me how to survive. It also showed me how life could be if you don't get your shit together.
That's right.
So I'm always on top of my shit now because I don't want me and my family to go through that.
That's right.
And LA is one hell of a place. I got to go to the Whiskey A Go-Go.
Nice.
And I'm like, dude, because that's another place Jim Morrison got his start off at.
That's right.
And a lot of other artists,
sure.
like Van Morrison too.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And I was so happy to be there, just to be looking on that stage. One day I'm going to perform there. I know I'm going to perform there. You guys hear me saying this now. Yeah. I'm going to headline a show at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
I'll tell you what, anybody with the balls to just move out to LA with nothing.
Well, I think
you're going to do something.
I had money, you know. It was like I had like $250, which I thought was something.
No, that's nothing.
Man, that shit was gone.
Like I said, with nothing.
Half of that shit was gone just trying to get a ride to the city. Because I didn't know the city of LA was so far from the LAX airport. It's so far.
Well, but it's LA is a strange place because, I mean, downtown LA, there's really nothing.
There's nothing.
No.
It's nothing but homeless people. It looks like Dawn of the Dead down there. Right. It smells like a pit.
It's the neighborhoods around LA that are.
It smells like urine down there and shit, you know, and everybody's homeless and it's really sketchy.
Yeah.
I lived in Skid Row. You ever heard of Skid Row?
I think there's a band called Skid Row.
Oh, they must be hardcore. They have to be with that.
They're like one of those 80s glam rock bands, you know.
Glam rock? Wow.
Yeah.
Glam rock with the name
But they
Skid
were
Row.
Gritty glam rock.
You gotta be, because I'm like, there's gotta be something hardcore or something edgy. Because Skid Row ain't no joke. That is it's basically like the flats, but everybody is homeless. And
right.
And you know, it's a terrible condition. There's a police department down there.
Just for Skid Row.
And I saw a man shooting up heroin on the steps of the police department.
Oh yeah. Well, LA is a different place, man.
It's a different place, man. And wow, it's just
San Francisco, Golden Gate Park is pretty interesting too.
I didn't get to get to San Francisco.
Well, it's a long way from LA.
Yeah, I didn't get to go out there. I was stuck in Los Angeles.
Yeah. But so then you got this place out there.
Yeah.
And you then what? What happened?
I got a job at Popeyes on Hollywood Boulevard. And it was weird because, you know, I had dreads, right?
Yeah.
And, so I had that job for about 3 weeks, and then they said, "Hey, we need you to cut your hair because it doesn't."
I've been to that Popeyes actually.
You did?
Yeah, I've been there. You know what? It would be crazy if you actually worked there then. But.
What year were you there?
Oh God, you're asking me to talk about years. Shit, it could have been 2 years ago or 15 years ago. No. I don't know. I don't know. When was I there? Maybe, I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago, maybe.
Well, I was there in 2015. So,
okay.
Yeah, they wanted me to cut my dreads, and I'm like, I'm not cutting my dreadlocks. You know, fuck you. You know.
Yeah.
I said, well, you're fired. I said, well,
oh, is that right?
They fired me, man, because I didn't want to cut
the dreadlocks. Really? That seems weird.
Because they say it doesn't look professional. I'm like,
at Popeyes.
Right. I'm like, this people don't care about my hair. They want chicken. They want the value meals. Get the fuck out of here. I think I don't know.
You know what? I loved Popeyes. Everything about it was great. It's just the guy that worked there had dreadlocks. I don't know.
Right. I don't. The quality of chicken was so crunchy, but that guy with the locks really ruined my customer service. Fuck him. I'm calling corporate. But yeah, no. So I said, I got a job on Venice Beach at a surf shack.
Nice.
And
I love Venice Beach, man.
I love it, dude.
A lot of cool people. I met a lot of cool people.
That's what kind of cultivated my style too. You know, like it's just you can see anything on Venice Beach. You see any type of artist on Venice Beach. You can see like somebody freestyle rapping while they're painting. Yeah. And they can do a kick. They'll be doing like skateboarding moves. Right. While rapping, you know, you don't know what you're gonna see. Like I love Venice Beach. It's just like an open portal of anything.
Love it. Yeah.
And you know, I love it. I see why Jim Morrison was homeless out there too. He was living on people's roofs.
It feels when you're at Venice Beach. I mean, it feels like L.A. That's like,
L.A. That's
the L.A. that everyone thinks of. You know,
palm trees, beach, right, water. Food, entertainment, and then the part of the other LA experience is, you know, just seeing the Walk of Fame, which I got really tired of seeing. I'm like, okay, fuck this star of whoever, you know. So,
well, the rest of it's a lot of poverty and a lot of.
I would say 85% of Los Angeles is poverty. It's just amazing how many homeless people. That's why I didn't feel so bad about being homeless there, because I'm like, everybody's just homeless here. So, you know, I'm like, fuck it. You know, it's just a way of life here, you know? Right.
And, well, everybody's going there for an industry that's finite in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? It's like there's more people going there to go into the business that it could sustain. You know what I mean?
It's an illusion, man.
And especially now. Because everything's shut down. You know?
To me, everything is an illusion.
It's like Vegas is an illusion too. I say Cancun's an illusion. You know,
Vegas is a special, awesome illusion. Like you go there and you're like, all right, I genuinely had a good time here.
Well, you can have a good time in LA. We were just talking about.
You can have a good time as a tourist. Yeah, okay. As a tourist, you can have a good time in Vegas and in LA. But okay. I don't think there's too many people that want to move to the city of Las Vegas and think they're gonna just because you know how damn well know how expensive it is there. Yeah, you can visually see how expensive it is there. All those glamorous lights and everything. But LA, you kind of because you hear so many stories about people just going there and like, all right, I made it. You know, when you go to LA, it's not like that at all. No. Well, man, I gotta. Man, reality kicked me in the face hard. I'm like, dude, this is serious. You're not. The people that made it there aren't really. There's a lot of people from Los Angeles that are not even from Los Angeles.
Well, it's the music. That's where the labels were. That's where the money was for the music industry. So people would want to be closer to it. You know, it's like Nashville now. You know, and that's where a lot of the music is.
I want to go there. I got family in Nashville.
You've never been to Nashville?
I've passed through it because I got family. I got family in Arkansas.
That's where the music capital really is.
I heard the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was originally there.
I mean, I don't know I don't know that, but I would imagine it could very well have been.
Yeah, I read about that. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was originally there, and then Tennessee was originally the home of rock and roll. Then Cleveland kind of took that title when we got the Rock and Roll of Fame.
Well, I mean, we kind of deserve the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just because, you know, it was a lot, you know, in the 70s, WMMS had a big deal.
Was that a Cleveland radio
It was a Cleveland station. But even in the 50s, when Alan Freed coined the term on the Cleveland radio station, rock and roll, He coined that term,
Oh, so he didn't want to came up with it.
Yeah, and he was in Cleveland, so that's I think that's why.
So that's why we're okay.
Yeah, and then Kiss and Rush and a lot of like bands in the '70s made it through Cleveland. WMS was a pretty big station. Apparently, it was a little bit before my time. You know what I mean? WMS is still around. But it's a different thing now.
Speaking of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I don't know if a lot of people know this here in the city, but hey guys, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is free if you have your Cleveland ID.
Oh, is it?
If you're from Cleveland,
I didn't know that.
You can go there for free. Just show them your ID, because Key Bank pay for every Cleveland pedestrian.
Really?
To go there.
Oh, in Cleveland, not the suburbs.
No, I mean if you're from Maple or whatever, you can still go.
Yeah. Okay.
So just putting that out there for everybody. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is free if you have your ID.
Really?
From Ohio?
Is that true?
It's true. I've been doing it all year. I've been doing it all year.
Nice.
It's just to the point where when I go there, I go there so much. I treat it like a music school for me to learn about bands and artists that I never knew about. I treat it like a school, and that's what it is essentially. It's not even a museum to me now. It's a place where I go to learn about different people that I never heard about.
So when you first got into music, we know your influences now, and then obviously you're on a quest to understand more about music. When did that kind of, like, what happened there? Obviously you're transcending through like different genres, say from rap to like rock or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I am transcending to different genres. This album that I'm working on now, which is called 12 a.m. This album is I would say it's a psychedelic 80s sounding album, and like the song you heard, "Bullet on the Run" with the video.
Okay.
That was like inspired by.
I just want to say he's got this really cool video for this song. Look it up. Rage the Poetic.
Bullet on the Run.
Bullet on the Run.
And that song was inspired by the nightclubs that I seen in Scarface.
Oh right. Like Miami kind of.
Yeah, Miami night.
Like the old the what do they call that? Art Deco kind of. Yeah. Everything, neon lights and stuff like that.
All of that. It was inspired by that, and I just wanted to make something that sounded like that. Yeah. And I think I achieved that, because a lot of people say this reminds me of like Grand Theft Auto music, or like Scarface, or 80s music, and that's what I'm glad I did, because the 80s was a special time period. I'm just looking, I'm like, dude, this is just a lot of dope shit happening in the 80s. You probably tell me about the 80s.
Well, no, I mean, I was a wee lad.
You were a wee lad?
Yeah, in the 80s. So, I mean, yeah, sure, I remember a lot of things that
was
went on.
Was there really cocaine inside of Coca-Cola?
I'll tell you what. No, not in the 80s. No, that was like in the early 1900s.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I mean, dude, come on, man. I'm not that old, man.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the assumption. I'm sorry, bro. I don't know what year you were born, so.
No. Yeah. So, like, I would imagine, when were you born?
I was born in 95.
So 95. So it's like the 2000s for you, basically. I would think.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
It's like,
and now I understand.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. You weren't out doing cocaine and stuff, I'm sure.
I have faint memories of 2000, and no, I wasn't. But you know what? Speaking on that subject, I wanted to talk about something that, I wanted to bring to the surface. So, when you met me at Punch Bowl, that was a time period where I was dabbling in drugs heavily, because I had just came from LA around that time. I came back early 2016.
Yeah.
And I was doing a lot. I was partying a lot out there, of course, LA.
Right.
Going to parties that went into like 4 a.m.
Right.
And I started I started getting into drugs like cocaine and stuff. And, and I brought that back here with me in Cleveland, just that lifestyle. And there is where, at that restaurant is where I was doing it so much. I was like, you probably never knew. Nobody never knew. I kept very secretive, but I was on it all the time, like, especially working there, as you know.
You talking cocaine?
Yes. I had a cocaine addiction.
And you didn't share?
Hey, look, man, you can't broadcast that shit out there. I wasn't trying to get locked up because I had it.
I'll tell you what, you're the best person at it because you have got to have the most calm demeanor I have ever.
I was really good at keeping it secret there, man, because I really didn't want to get in trouble or get arrested. But I tell you what, man, I was Tony Montana in those bathrooms when and because that was the only way I was able. Because that place is so demanding on the weekends, as you know.
Oh yeah,
Fridays and Saturdays demanding as fuck. And you know, I was a server assistant, so you have to be on your shit. You have to get people their food. You have to run upstairs and downstairs, and you know, go in the kitchen. And, you know, like, and I was also like depressed around that time from a relationship that happened, you know, with a girl, and
sure,
and she broke my heart a lot, and I just
women.
I fuck, you know, she broke my heart, and I was just so low. And I also felt bad that I felt like I gave up my dreams in LA. I came back to Cleveland, and I felt like I just
you're saying you felt like a you're saying you felt like a failure.
Yeah, I felt like I gave up because I came back, and I'm like, and I told myself I'm not coming back, you know, and then it took a long time for me to understand, like, it's okay that I came back, you know.
Absolutely.
The place just wasn't for me.
Sure.
And so, but yeah,
it's not for a lot of people. I'll tell you that, man. You know.
But I had a really strong drug addiction. I broke that addiction in 2018.
How'd you get that addiction though?
Living in Los Angeles, of course.
Yeah. What?
You know,
how'd you get introduced to it?
A friend.
Yeah.
A very bad friend that was bad for me.
Yeah.
And I've severed my relationship with that person because you know, they weren't healthy for me. Yeah. When I became an adult, I got married and had a kid. So this person is not good for me. He's never been good for me. Yeah. And
bad influence.
Very bad influence. And I didn't want to bring that into my adult life with having a kid. And you know, I wanted to be the best example of a father for him, my son. Yeah. And so I cut that shit off, and I haven't done cocaine since 2018, so I'm nice. And I didn't have to go to any rehab or anything. I just told myself I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah. I put my mind to it, and I achieved it. Nice. And now all I do is psychedelics. I did DMT earlier this year.
Is that right? How was that? No, because we have a common friend that has been to Peru and done the ayahuasca whole journey and everything.
Yeah. You put that in tea.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was doing that, and then, you know, he did that for like a week or whatever. They would do ayahuasca, and then they did the poison frog and everything, you know.
I've never heard of poison frog.
Yeah, I guess you lick this frog, and it trips you out or something, you know, whatever.
You know, I seen that in the video. And I thought that was just something crazy they did in the video.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, it secretes some kind of poison, you know, and if you lick it, like, it's a
psychedelic experience.
Absolutely. And, you know, but the DMT thing, you know, because I've done a lot of acid, I've done, you know, mushrooms and stuff like that. I've never done the DMT thing, and I hear, from what I gather,
you have to do DMT, Vince. If you've done acid and mushrooms, that I don't know what you're waiting on, but that's the next level. Yeah. So, yeah, because it's not like, you know, I'm not trying to do acid every day or mushrooms or whatever. You can't do acid.
But I've always said it's something people should try because it's not going to kill you.
Yeah, and that's what people think. People, you know, especially
it's not going to kill you.
People would think mushrooms will kill you before acid. Right. And mushrooms is the lighter one to me. Yeah. Because acid trips can get intense.
Oh, dude, they can and they last a lot longer too. You know.
When I was homeless on the streets on LA, I was on acid, and that shit was. That's why it felt like I was in The Walking Dead because everybody looked like zombies to me when I was out there.
Oh yeah. Well, you can't look anyone in the face on acid, but no, and that's the thing. Like, so, but it's something to like these hallucinogenics, man. They give you a different perspective on things. You know.
You want to know why it does that? Because it makes your brain start thinking in ways that it never thought before. Like it start opening different pathways in your brain.
So going back to your band, The Doors.
Of course, yeah.
It opens doors in your mind.
The doorway of perception.
Yeah.
Once, like James, that William Blake or whatever the poet said, once the doors of perception are open, everything becomes as it is, infinite.
That's right.
And that's true. And that's exactly what an acid experience is, man. Like,
yeah,
the doorway is open. Okay, now you're behind the curtain watching everything. Right. You're like you were the spectator watching the play. Now you're behind the curtain watching how everything is going about.
Yeah.
And man, my first acid trip was crazy. Like I was with my that friend that got me hip to the cocaine, and he showed me LSD.
So obviously he was good in some way, right?
Yeah, he had his times.
And you like the guy, right? The only thing you don't like about him is the bad influence about him. There's got to be some quality about this guy that you do like, right?
He is a great musician.
Yeah.
He just has a terrible he has a terrible personality.
Okay.
Very egotistical.
Okay.
And
so that's what attracted you is
his music. Like him as a musician. Him as a musician was very inspiring. But
nice.
Like Kanye. Kanye is a great musician.
Yeah.
Personality is kind of not like okay.
But what is Kanye's personality though? Because I mean, I really do feel like he's just. There's no way he's serious, right?
You can't tell.
A lot of times.
You don't know because he's part Kardashian, part West. So you don't know if this man's pulling a stunt on you or.
You don't know.
You don't know You don't know rather believe this is the old Kanye or this is just some Kardashian hybrid.
Right.
I don't know, but going back to I don't want to shift into Kanye, but I want to go back to talk about psychedelics because a lot of people don't know about psychedelics, and I want to enlighten people about it. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with psychedelics, man. It's just your perception, and if you're like you only have a bad trip if you're already having negative emotions before you take the tab or whatever. You're like if you're already having a bad day and you take a tab, of course you're going to have a bad trip. The shit is still lingering in your mind. I agree. Now, mushrooms, I've never had a bad trip on a mushroom. It felt lovely. Like, it felt like my body was just hugging itself. I just felt nothing but love for everything.
But you could have been in the... in a right state of mind. What if you would have taken those mushrooms in a bad state of mind?
I did, and I have, and the mushrooms transformed everything, and it made me feel love for the situation that was bad.
Yeah, I gotta say, I've never actually had a bad situation with mushrooms.
It's just
it usually does change my mood to something happy.
The only thing bad about mushrooms is when you eat it, it tastes like shit. But
I honestly never even got that because actually I hate mushrooms like in general.
I hate
it. I don't want mushrooms on pizza or nothing.
I hate it. I hate it. I'm like, take it off my Philly cheesesteak, take it off everything.
Yeah. So I don't like mushrooms, and I've always heard that they were so bad because I did acid a lot when I was younger, and then I kind of just. Acid's a gamble, man.
It is a gamble.
Could be good. You know what I mean?
You never know.
Yeah, so I was just like, I'm done taking the gamble.
Me too. I don't do acid no more. I'm done with it.
But I did shrooms probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and for the first time, and before that it was just acid. I never,
Yeah. Me too.
But I have not had a bad situation with mushrooms. No, yet. So, and it came on pretty strong too, and it was just a great feeling.
So I'm going to tell everybody if you're going to start with psychedelics, start with mushrooms.
Yeah,
because you're not going to have a bad trip at all. And then you want to go into acid. Like Vince said, it's a gamble. So make sure everything is set up to where you can only have a good trip. Make sure you're around people you trust.
Right.
Make sure you're not playing music with lyrics on it, because don't listen to rock music on acid, because you might hear Satan. Listen to instrumental music and
But that's your reality,
Yeah, that's my reality. Somebody might like rock and roll.
Right.
Somebody might like hard metal and acid. I can't hear it. I can't do that. Don't play no metal around me.
But let's go into the DMT. So what's that experience like?
I'm glad you brought us back to that. So yeah. Okay, so basically DMT is like dying for 5 minutes, and you go to another dimension, and you start talking to I know this sounds wacky, but it is what it is. It's true.
A lot of credible people have said this is similar things.
Yeah, Terrence McKenna. Look up Terrence McKenna. Like shit. You basically die for 5 minutes, but when you're in that trip, it doesn't feel like 5 minutes. It feels like you've been there for eons.
Right.
And you're talking to these life forms, that you've never met, and they're telling you the point of a DMT trip is to show you something that you need to know in your life right now. A message that you need to know, and there's these little things trying to distract you. These like little I forgot their names, but they're part of the DMT trip.
How did you experience it?
How was my experience?
Yeah, like what were these little things to you?
Well, the first time I did it, they did distract me from the message, and they fly.
Like what are they?
Oh man, they're like.
No, I don't want to know the name. I just want to know a description.
Sometimes they look like monkeys. Sometimes they look like. Oh,
what did they look like to you?
I remember the name of they're called jesters.
Okay, so what did they look like to you though?
The monkeys, flying monkeys, spirit-looking monkeys. They're like trying to distract you, like, hey, look at me, ha ha ha, and they fly through you. They're flying. One flew through me.
What's the reason?
They're trying to distract you from the message.
Why?
The important message.
What's the reason?
So you don't. I don't know. I guess they're like negative entities,
Yeah.
And they're trying to distract you from your message, your life message, to get you on your straight.
Why would that be their purpose?
I don't know, man. You can't explain things in the fourth dimension.
I'm just, these are questions I would ask,
Yeah, they were, man, like, I'll say the second time is when I started to have the deep insights, and I was talking to my ancestors on the second one. They were like light beings.
Yeah.
It was like a being with like a star tetrahedron type of head.
Yeah.
And you couldn't see their face, but it was like the shape. And you also see shapes that you've never seen in your life. And like you start to see, you hear music sounds that you've never heard, man. It's just like, it's hard for me to explain, man.
Well, that's how acid sounds to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like you.
It's like acid times 1,000.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I would just encourage people to do it once in their life, man. I know a lot of people are really afraid because DMT is definitely the king psychedelic. It's like at the top of the pyramid,
right,
of psychedelics, and when you do it, you'll understand why, man. It's just you literally die for 5 minutes. You go to your body. First, you go to this waiting room, and then from the waiting room, you get transported into this realm where you're free falling into this realm, and then you land into this. And this is my experience.
Sure.
I landed into this world, and I started seeing these beings, and they were trying to tell me something. They had an orb of light, and they were just trying to reveal something to me, And wow.
What did they say? What were they trying to tell you?
They were trying to tell me to stop worrying about how people think of you,
Well, that's great advice, actually.
Yeah, because
I'm not even
for a long time, I'd be worried about how others feel about me. It was a deep thing I struggle with, how others feel about me. It was the cause of my anxiety and everything, and they showed me why you shouldn't care about.
Right.
You care how people feel. They show you the repercussions of caring too much of how people care. It's in a very in-depth, and the gestures couldn't even distract me anymore from it because I was just too focused on the message.
Too focused, right?
And so, that's what the message was. And I haven't done DMT anymore after I got the message because you don't really need to. Because after that, you're just fucking around going to another dimension for no reason. I got my message, if I'm having a deep struggle with something else in life.
What do you mean you go, like if you do it again, you're going to a different dimension, you're probably not going to get the same message, or?
You're probably just going to see a bunch of weird shit.
Like what kind of weird shit, man?
Like I said, shapes that you never seen.
Yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
And you just undescribable things that you never seen in your life. That's not documented here in this dimension.
Does it make sense to you?
No.
No.
It doesn't make sense.
No.
Because you've never seen it. It's alien to your mind.
Right.
It's alien. It would be alien to every. It's like a baby. It's like an infant looking at a car or something. You know, like you're like, what the hell is that?
So it's like an infant looking at a car. It's like, what's the hell is that? It's still there. It's real.
Yeah.
Just don't understand it.
Yeah, you don't understand it. It's something, but it's not something you know.
Right.
It's alien to you.
No, and
it's just
I've had that feeling.
I would basically say a DMT trip is a bunch of foreign things.
Right.
That it's a message and a bunch of foreign things presented to you in a fourth dimension or fifth dimension. You can go to any dimension. I really think it's your spirit going to parallel universes or just a different dimension. There's definitely different. There's scientifically proven that there's different.
There's very credible scientists and physicists out there that really can't explain the whole DMT experience.
Terence McKenna is the person that bestly describes it to me.
And there are scientists and physicists that have done it, and they're convinced there's something there because nobody really understands consciousness either. There's no, like, you can't take a class. You're not going to college to take a class on consciousness.
You're not taking consciousness 101. Nobody's doing it.
No,
not yet.
No, nobody understands it.
Yeah.
Well, because it's all subjective. It's all there's no way you can quantify consciousness. You can't measure somebody else's thoughts.
You can't.
Because
you're not there. You're not in there.
Right.
That's why it was hard for me. That's why it's hard for me to describe.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard for me to describe to you that DMT trip, because it was happening inside my consciousness.
Right.
And it's just something you really can't describe. You got to do it on your own. And I think that drug that's why it's amazing, because it's amazing because you can't describe it like an acid trip.
Well, and it's a chemical that is produced by your body.
It's already inside of you.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's the active ingredient to make you dream.
Right. That's what they say. Yeah.
And it did feel like a dream, but it was a real dream.
Right.
That only your spirit, your consciousness experience. But yeah, that's what I like. I only do psychedelics now. So yeah. Smoke weed and do psychedelics. I don't do uppers. I don't do pills.
No, all that stuff is, psychedelics are natural and, depending on what you take, and marijuana is natural.
Natural.
It's like alcohol. Alcohol. Tobacco's natural, but they put a lot of chemicals in there and shit. You know what I mean?
I didn't really get into cigarettes or Black and Milds or cigars. I tried it. I'm like, it makes my throat hurt, it makes it feel dry, and I'm a vocalist. I sing, so it would fuck me up.
Well, let's go into that vocalist thing. Let's talk about, because I want to, what inspires you now? Like, what are you doing as an artist right now? I mean, you just put out that video.
I'm working on my.
But what really drives you, to write your lyrics? Because that ultimately is the important part of.
That's a really good question, Vince, and it's very simple. I look at the children, and I see how misled they are from rappers and pop stars and whatever. And my goal is to make music, genuine music. To inspire and light the flame inside of a kid, to make them be who they always wanted to be. You don't have to wear this masquerade and try to be like a fake gangster or a fake emo person or a fake whatever. I want you to be. My music is here to inspire you to be who you are, and my music is here. My music is that confidence booster. Is like your espresso shot in the morning,
right?
To just be who you really want to be. I just want to be and inspiration to the kids. And
right.
And my focus now with this album is more so to make jams that everybody can groove to. You know, I used to make music only for like stoners or like conscious people, you know. Now it's just something that everybody can jam to. Like,
sure.
It doesn't matter your age. You can be. I want to make music like how Michael Jackson did. You know,
right.
Billie Jean is something that anybody of any age can get down to. You know, just all relatable music. You know, so that's my goal right now.
Yeah. So, but you know, we were talking about, you know, well, I don't know. I was at least at some point So, is there like a therapeutic process that of something that you need to say, like when you're you know, formulating the words, you know?
Yeah, when I'm writing, you know, music is definitely therapeutic for me, because there's some things that really be on my heart. There's some things that's on my heart, and I really have to get it out. You know, sometimes talking to people just don't do it. And when I make a song about it, I feel better. You know, I feel like I got something off my chest. I have to make music.
Yeah.
You know, even if, because next year, you know, I'm not going to be focusing on music so heavily. I'm going to, you know, really go give it my all with the acting again. Right. I'm an actor at heart too. Yeah. You know, the first time I ever acted was at the Playhouse. Nice. In Ohio Theater, you know, in a play. Yeah, I started off in theater, not like on screen acting. Theater is like a whole different ball game. You literally have to be a singer and a dancer and an actor. So
well-rounded.
And you can't mess up your lines. Right. Because if you can't just go on stage and be like, oh shit, I forgot my line. Right. Like on an actor, like on a movie, you know. Yeah. You do that, you ruin the whole show and everybody hates you. Yeah, yeah. But next year I'm going to get into acting. I'm focused on acting really hard. But I'm still going to be doing music, you know, because I need to do music, you know.
Well, that's the therapeutic part, isn't it? You know, and that's, you know, it doesn't really matter about the hits or whatever, you know, whatever. And that's what I'm really trying to get down to is like your drive, like, because I honestly I know that video that you had.
Bullet on the Run.
I think what is it called?
Bullet on the Run.
Bullet on the Run.
Can I tell you about that title once you get done saying what you said?
Yeah, no, well, it's probably going to segue into that, you know. It's, well, for instance, where does a lyric like Bullet on the Run come from? You know what I mean? Obviously, it's something you want to say. You made a video for the song, so it's important to you in some way, you know. What is that?
No, Bullet on the Run. I think I invented something original with that title. A Bullet on the Run is a female who can't be stopped. Right. In the night. You know, she
like no a prostitute or
I guess, you know. Hey, it's supplemental.
Like a strong female lead.
Yeah, a strong female who can't be tamed, can't be stopped. She knows what she wants, and she's going to get it.
Right.
You know, just...
well, Daryl Hall and John Oates wrote a song called Man Eater.
Oh.
And I think that's...
I love Hall and Oates.
Yeah, she's a man eater.
I didn't hear that one. I've only heard I Can't Go For
She'll
That.
chew you up.
Well, that's not the exact definition of a bullet or run. It's just it's just a girl that just can't be stopped like a bullet. Like a bullet, you can't be stopped. Okay. So yeah, that's where it came from. Just a girl that's like a unstoppable force. Okay. Yeah, and a lot of people think the girl in the video is like resembling a prostitute, but no, she was not a prostitute.
She's a very attractive girl, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, I chose her right. I chose the right person for that. But she's just a girl who's very independent. No man with money or charm can stop her or get her.
That's the portrayal in the video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at the beginning of the video, she denied me.
Right.
She put her hand in my face. I said,
right.
Holy shit, this girl's fucking, gosh. You know, and she went out in the night. She was doing her thing, dancing, looking seductive, making men. And when we was filming that, it was people by the Hilton, trying to.
Because that was in front of the Playhouse over there.
It was a couple locations. It was front of the. We were in front of the Hilton. We were in front of the What's that other hotel by the Hilton over there?
You were at the Renaissance, or
we were at the Renaissance too. We were at a lot of hotels. I don't know why. But there was another hotel we filmed some shots. The one over there by Terminal Tower, Marriott.
Okay.
Yeah, we filmed some scenes by Marriott.
Okay.
Not Terminal Tower, but I meant Key Bank. Yeah.
Right. Oh, the Marriott over there. Yeah.
And people were just allured by her.
Right.
She was
she had, she was scantily clad.
I don't know what that means, but that sounds cool. Scantily clad.
Well, her bosom and legs were showing quite a bit, right?
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people thought she was resembling a prostitute, but she was not. She was not a prostitute. She was just a very alluring girl. She was stunning. I told her I want you to look stunning.
Yeah. Well, she was stunning.
Yeah, and I'm glad
So.
That video, it got that video did numbers before the day even ended. Like,
yeah, let's not give numbers out.
Right.
Let's let them. Yeah.
Yeah, because numbers don't matter.
Right. But it did a lot of numbers.
But also numbers don't lie.
Right. But it did a lot of numbers, though. Man.
Yeah, in a very quick period of time.
So, because you were saying, like, we were talking earlier, the girl in the video, apparently that's not her thing at all.
No, Kai, she's a Janis Joplin rocker type of girl. She's very
hippie chick.
She's a hippie chick. Yeah. She's also very covered, so you wouldn't even see her bosoms in real life unless you're her boyfriend or her doctor. So she, she's a very conscious woman, and she makes really great music.
That's awesome.
So I'm really happy that she stepped out of her normal, comfortable lane, and
that's awesome.
It shows her strength, and that's why it couldn't be no one better to play a bullet on the run.
That's right.
A very strong
personality,
strong woman.
Yeah, that's cool, man. Nice. So what do you got going on now, man? What's the future of Rage the Poetic?
Like I said, I'm working on this album called 12 a.m. and it's gonna be.
How do you do your beats? I just want to, because I was trying to ask you that earlier.
Sometimes I get together with producers. Yeah. Really talented producers. Yeah. And that nailed the sound. Like the guy who made Bullet on the Run, he really nailed that 1980s Miami vibe for me.
Who was that?
My buddy Kashmir.
Yeah.
He got that. He's a hip hop artist, but him as a producer, like he's like a Kanye. Yeah. He can do anything. Right. He made that beat for me in 3 days. Nice. And I automatically had a melody for it. Sweet. And but sometimes sometimes I most of the times I just get with producers, and but what's going on for me, like I said, the album, the 1980s album, the trippy psychedelic album, and then before that, what's coming up real soon is this event called Next Up that my wife is throwing. Nice. I'm a producer for it, and it's a showcase for like underground artists and bands and just anybody that's doing art. Nice. It's an event for them to just showcase themselves, because I find here, and it's the reason why I started my event, Rage Fest. I find here that the underground gets overlooked so much, and there's so many talented people here in Cleveland, bands and everything, as you know. That's why I'm doing this, right? Yeah, to put the spotlight on people like me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you infinitely for doing this. And I just want to give the spotlight to very talented people who get told no by the House of Blues and the Grog Shop and just venues, because that was me too. I was getting I still get told by the House of Blues. I'll be on that stage soon. Well. But I was getting told no a lot, and I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna start my own festival. Right. And I did that. And her show is kind of like a child of my show. And that show's coming up, Next Up 2020. It's going to be at Blank Canvas across the street from
2021.
No, 2020.
Oh yeah, you're gonna do it?
It's coming. It's September 26th this month.
Oh, nice, cool. All right.
And it's gonna be at Blank Canvas, across the street from Cedar-Lee Theater.
Nice.
That's where the place is. And it's a black owned
Blank Canvas across from Cedar-Lee Theater. So that's that drug. Like there's a pharmacy right there, right?
Yeah, it's a pharmacy. Then down the street a little bit there's Blank Canvas.
Okay.
And
down on Cedar.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a black-owned art gallery. So
Nice.
it's some nice urban paintings in there of like Biggie Smalls,
Nice.
Prince, anybody. You know, it's a great place. And it's just we was gonna have it in a negative space, but we had a lot of things in negative space, so we're just gonna give it a break, and we want to try.
Well, let's go into negative space. So what was your first experience with negative space? Because I'll tell you what. He's got a good thing going.
Yeah, Gotti.
There.
Shout out to Gotti's Zamir.
Yeah.
If you're from the Cleveland Heights area, you know who I'm talking about. He's a legend out
Gotti.
there.
Yeah.
Negative Spaces, man. That guy Gotti just has a unique vibe inside of his gallery. You know, I think it's just the vibrations from his paintings. You know, he's a very psychedelic.
Well, he's an artist. I mean, he's a true artist.
True artist. Like, to the core, man.
Yeah.
He's probably painting right now.
Right.
You know,
he made it his life. That's
literally his life.
Yeah.
His son is a good painter.
Yeah.
An artist. His son's name is Yuval. He's also an up and coming good painter, just like his father.
Yeah.
And Negative Space is a great place for anybody doing anything artistic. You know, he has open mics there at the end of every month.
Yeah.
For bands and a lot of people don't know about this place, man. That's why, you know, I had Rage Fest there for like 2 years in a row because I wanted to put it on the map. And I think I achieved that because a lot of people started doing stuff there a lot more. A lot of people in my age range. Because a lot of people that was older knew about the place, but a lot of people that was my age range didn't know about the place until I started doing stuff there. And I'm happy I did that for Gotti. I encourage everybody to go to Negative Space.
I agree.
And it's in the Asian town. Yeah, Asia town.
No.
And a nice warehouse. Not warehouse, but it's like
no, it's great. There's a great little Asian restaurant. What is it? Korean restaurant right over there.
Yeah, I had some pho in there.
Yeah.
That's the first time I had some pho, and I'm like, what is this shit? It's good. It's good as hell. And the Asian market, there's this Asian grocery store in there.
That's right. Yeah.
It's great.
No, it's a cool spot, man, for sure. Yeah.
The funk.
And Gotti in Negative Space, I got to tell you, you know, if you ever get a chance to check it out because it really is a great place. Yeah.
Please go to Negative Space. The feng shui is great.
Yeah. Oh, his artwork is amazing.
It's like you'll be looking at a painting of a cow, and then it's also a painting of a baby being born inside the cow, and then I'm like, it's like it reminds me of being on acid. It reminds me of a DMT trip.
That's cool.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, cool. So you're just making some what you're just gonna do like an album here soon? We're gonna drop an album?
Yeah. I don't even know when I want to drop it. Right now I'm just working on the songs. I don't have a planned date when I'm dropping it. I would say end of November, heading into December.
I was gonna say, like, I was like, man, I might try and come up with a beat, man, and have you.
Please.
Yeah.
Please do like an '80s type of.
Oh, in the '80s? Yeah, is that what you're looking for?
Just '80s. That's the sound I'm.
I could probably do that. Me and a couple guys are getting together, and we're gonna redo a version of "Union of the Snake" by Duran Duran, which is an '80s song. So while I'm doing that, maybe I can throw together a little remix or something.
Please, I'll send you some magic if you do that, man. Also, me and my wife, we're gonna do a talk show here in Cleveland for underground artists here. Nice. And it's gonna be very unorthodox because it's gonna be like.
Well, keep us connected here, man. You know,
you're gonna be on there, and I'll tell you what, it's gonna be like it's gonna be unlike something you've never been on.
Nice.
It's not gonna be like your average talk show. You're not gonna know what the fuck's going on. It's gonna be like very uncanny, and random things happening at.
We'll have to do some collaborations and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, buddy. I'll be here.
Yeah. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm also an actor, guys. You know, like I said, you know, I'm a great actor. I want to get into voice acting. You know,
you do voices?
Yeah, I can do. If you watch Family Guy, I can do a good Cleveland Brown. I wanted to take the actor's job because I've been good at his voice for a very long time.
Are we gonna get a little sample?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
You know, Loretta, I'm really tired of you people coming in my house, taking all my maple syrup. You know, Peter comes in my house and he takes all of my maple syrup. And I'm just really tired of it. It's the reason why I left Family Guy. And I got my own show on CBS called The Cleveland Brown Show. Hey. Oh, no. That's just me doing it off the top of the dome. I could do it way better if I had like a script, but you guys,
because the guy that does that is a white guy, actually. Too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought because his name is Mike Henry.
I know it's almost like blackface kind of thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing about the Cleveland show, because it wasn't like a real like feel black show. It was like a bunch of like you know. A bunch of Jewish producers trying to recreate.
Well, that's everything in Hollywood.
Right. They were trying to recreate like a black family, you know.
Right.
I like American Dad more than a Family Guy because the jokes are darker and they're more intellectual, you know.
Well, you know, I got to tell you, I don't know. Family Guy, I think, is one of the greatest shows.
I mean, they just do too many. They just do too many cutaways. For me.
Cutaways, yeah, but they
rely on the cutaways too much.
They they can. Like the one cutaway was just playing the whole entire video of David Bowie and Mick Jagger dancing in the streets. Yeah, it was the whole entire video. It was like the whole segment.
Oh wow! They get too much into the cutaways are more. They get into the cutaways more than the meaning of the episode.
But I got to tell you, you know going from The Simpsons.
Oh man!
You know, because that's it. They're definitely ripping off The Simpsons. You know, but they just did it in a really crude, crazy way. You know, they went over the top.
Do you know what the new show is that's for everybody? Rick and Morty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, you know what's funny about Rick and Morty is I remember having a conversation with somebody, you know, in their 20s. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I saw Rick and Morty. It's like Back to the Future. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, well, yeah, it's like the professor and
it's like
and Marty.
It's like
and no, seriously, this is a person that watched this show all the time, and they were like, no, they never made that connection. I'm like, dude, it's totally Back to the Future. It's definitely, you know what I mean?
Did they see Back to the Future?
I'm guessing no.
Because if you've seen Back to the Future, then you would say, obviously this is Marty and Doc.
Right.
But the characters are nothing like Marty and Doc. You know, because Rick is an alcoholic grandfather.
Sure, yeah. But they are, you can definitely tell they're
And Morty is a neurotic grandson.
Yeah.
Who I also do a good impression of. Uncle Rick, Grandpa Rick, I'm just really tired right now. I just really want to go home. I'm tired of going to different dimensions. Shut up, Morty. We're gonna go to get those Galaxian crystals, and I need you to shove them up your ass so we can go and snort them, Morty. You gotta do it. Jeez, Grandpa Rick, I just want to go home and go to sleep, please. Yeah, man, I've watched that show too much.
Yeah, Mike, yeah. It's this white guy here.
Oh yeah, the Cleveland show. Yeah, that's Mike Henry. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna take your job, buddy. I've been aspiring to do that since I was 17.
But you know, it does kind of like, you know, it's interesting because, you know, the sensitivity of the racial, you know, all the racial tension. Yeah. I mean, rightly so. I think, you know, you know, we're not far removed. I mean, women should be still upset because they couldn't vote like 100 years ago.
They couldn't. So, women couldn't do a lot of stuff. Women's only job was to cook and fuck their husband. Yeah, right. So women have come a long way.
Yeah, you know.
Another thing I wanted to because I forgot. Another thing that I'm going to start doing next year is stand-up comedy.
Oh,
That's
right.
something that I always wanted to do.
I had Carl on here recently. He's a stand-up comedian.
Wow.
He's done the circuit around Cleveland and stuff. So
I was going to start doing it this year. I was really going to start. Like, I had my jokes practice and everything, like how I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic happened because I was going to start doing it at the social room over there on Cedar.
Oh, okay.
That's a bar.
Okay.
And they have open mics every Monday, and I was going to starting off there. And it didn't happen, you know. So, but I'm going to get into stand-up comedy next year along with acting, you know.
Nice.
And music is just going to really just be something I'm doing because this 12 a.m. album is just going to be like my last body of work for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. When you know, because I got away from music for a minute, and then you know, it's like you start. There's things, and it's like you need that expression. Now, if you're getting it in some other way, you know, but working a 9 to 5 really doesn't scratch that itch. You know what I mean? But if you're getting it in some other way, say acting or comedy or something, you know, I think stand-up comedians really, because they are just a direct feed from themselves into social structure of humanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, comedians I think are the greatest satirists, you know, a reflection of society. They are a product of society. Yeah.
And then comedians,
it's a reflection of society.
Yeah.
You know?
And their job
if you do it well, you know.
If you do well, yeah. A comedian's job is they're basically people that give you like current events but in a funny way.
Satire.
Yeah, like a satire.
Yeah.
Well, some of my favorite comedians are you know, Carlin.
Sure. Oh, perfect.
And you know,
he's great.
And
he's one of the best.
Richard Pryor
again.
Eddie
greatest. Eddie Murphy, great.
Dave Chappelle.
Well, these are the greats. These are the greats you're naming.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Carlin, I mean, you know, everyone likes to claim
He didn't give a fuck what he said.
Well, but everything he said was fucking accurate as fuck.
So true.
All these comedians, though, like, you know, they're all in the vein of like Mark Twain and like even farther back in the Greek times and stuff like that. You know, somebody, you know, I was taking a class on literature at some point, and you know, they said the difference between comedy and tragedy is you're pointing out the flaws of a single person. You know, and it's a tragedy, right?
Yeah.
Whereas comedy is you're pointing out the flaws of the whole of society.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
You're pointing at it and you're laughing. You're making other people laugh at it.
That's right.
And that's why I like art in general. Art is just subjective.
Yeah.
So you may think it's funny, and other people think it's funny. Other people may not think it's funny.
But like we were talking about earlier, you know, if you do it for that reason, and somebody comes up to you and you're like, they say, hey, this evokes the same feeling as when you made it. That's what you're looking for.
That's what
that's what it's all about.
That's
right?
the high for me.
Yeah.
It's not about the awards or anything. It's about touching people in here. That's what's all about.
Well, I'll tell you what. Unless you have something else to say, man, I think that's a good place to end this thing.
Let's end it, brother. It was nice being on here with you.
It was great seeing you, man.
SUB-CLE.
This is a great conversation.
This is a great podcast, and I encourage any artist or anybody doing anything to come up here and talk to Vince. A very great guy.
If you can send anybody my way, man, I'd be happy to talk to him.
I will.
For sure.
Trust and believe.
Yeah.
I know a lot of artists that are looking
for sure.
I might bring my wife on here. She's a great photographer and videographer, as you've seen.
Well, she did the video.
Yeah.
She did the video,
and
so
she has a lot
go
to
check
say.
out his video for, what was the name of that song?
Bullet on the Run.
Bullet on the
Rage
Run.
the Poetic.
Yeah, look it up. YouTube, you should be able to find it, no problem, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man. All right, well, Rage, Jordan, thank you very much for stopping by, man. It was great, yeah. All right, everybody, we're out. Take care.